it's Liz. How are you this morning? Got to do those checks just to make sure that everything's live. Let's go in. Bum, bum, bum. Are we there? Yes, we're there. Excellent. How is everyone today? It's a really dull day here in South Oxfordshire. Oh, and I've just realised I haven't put my rings and my earrings on. Never mind. When you join, if you're signed into YouTube, do sign into the chat as well. Let me know who you are and where you are joining from. Hello, Shaz. How are you? Hope everything is good or certainly improving in your world. So yes, let me know where you're joining from. And maybe what the weather's like with you. I mean, it's what, the 4th of June today? She says, having to look at her diary. Yes, 4th of June. And it's really meh. Sunday was glorious. Sunday was really lovely. Today is definitely meh. I'm determinedly in shorts and a t-shirt, but who knows. Anyway, while we're waiting for other people to join, let me just go through a few bits of housekeeping. So first of all, my name is Liz Yuille. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK, working across all of the European countries that we work in, which is the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands and Belgium. So, I wish I could have met you for coffee on Saturday. Ruth said it was... Oh, bless you, Shaz. It was lovely meeting up with Ruth. I hadn't realised her sister lived so close to the centre of Abingdon. But her husband is the minister at the Baptist Church, and their house that goes with that job is right in the middle of Abingdon. It's a wonderful location. Anywho, hello, Sue from New London, New Hampshire. Everything new. So, yes, so I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. If you're watching live, you can chat along with us if you're logged into YouTube. If you're watching on the replay, and the clue will be that I will have changed the title to Replay Live, or Live Replay, one or the other. And therefore, if you're watching the replay, you can leave comments below the description bar. Abingdon is beautiful, Shaz. The only problem I have with Abingdon is it's kind of lost its sense of being. It used to be lovely and oldie-worldy, and it kind of embraced that. Now it kind of doesn't know what it's trying to be, so it's not really succeeding at being anything. But it's still nice. I mean, I go there three or four times a week because I go to the gym there, so I'm there 3 times a week, and then on every other Tuesday morning, so including this morning, I go to one of the chiropractors there. It's full of chiropractors. Anyway, let's get crafting while other people are joining. So I will... Hello, Deborah from Michigan. I will just flip the camera down if I can... Ooh, something weird just happened. That's odd. Bear with me while I... Ooh, that's very odd. I have no idea what has just happened. That is odd. I want that one, I think. Let me just see if I can find me. Can someone please tell me if you can still see me? Because something very odd has just happened on my YouTube feed. And I don't know what. Everything good at your end? Excellent. Let me see if I can... Oh, I'm now... Oh, that's better. Phew. Whew. Something really weird just happened, and I got a whole different thing going on that was nothing like I normally see. I'm now seeing myself in stereo, which is kind of spooky. However, I'll live with it. Still see and hear me. Good. Super. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Shaz. Hello, Jane from Georgia. Thank you. I'm glad you can see me live and you can see me. I suddenly got a whole thing about an app store and things. It was really quite spooky. So I'm not going to touch anything. And I'm going to flip the camera down. She says, hopefully. Where are we? Which is what I was trying to do. And we will transition to there. Phew. So, new Stampin' Up! Catalogue. So there's been mixed feedback about Stampin' Up! The new layout of the catalogue. I love it. All the quick and easy stuff at the front, and then it gets more, you get more complicated things as you go through. Anyway, on page 110, you will find the inspirational sketch. It's very odd seeing me twice. The inspirational sketches stamp set, which has got what to my mind looks like a sparrow, mushrooms or toadstools, and then flowers. It's got a kind of scribble, and then thank you for everything, grateful for you, and enjoy the journey. So that's what we're using. I've got 3 projects actually planned, which is kind of weird. So I'm using some dies. So I'm using dies from Citrus Blooms, which is what I've used for these leaves. Morning Jan from Florida. So citrus leaves. Then the Spotlight on Nature circle dies, and I will be using the deckled rectangles. Now the deckled rectangles are on the online, they're now online exclusives. So first thing I'm going to do is stamp my bird. And I'm going to use, this is the scrap that I used last week. I'm just going to make sure that I can, yes, fit it in. I can. I'm going to stamp in, I'm looking at a stamp set. Oh, that's right. I'm going to stamp in Memento. And this is a white ink pad that I have filled, as in a neutral ink pad, you know, uninked, that I have filled with Memento Tuxedo Black, because it gives you a better impression than using their ink pad. Go figure. There you are. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. While that is drying, because it does need to dry a little bit before you get in there with your blends, I'm just going to clean the stamp, and then I'm going to do some ink blending on those leaves. Now the leaves are cut in basic beige. Ooh. Don't want that way, thank you. Sorry, something had fallen over that I really didn't want falling over. Helps if you actually clean. There we go. Right. So I have die cut the leaves in basic beige, and I'm going to grab crumb cake, which I didn't get out. That's why I was a bit confused. And I'm just very lightly going to add some colour with crumb cake. And I'll then go through the products that I'm using. Oh, bless you, Shaz. Yes, morning to everyone coming in. So just very lightly, I just want to add a bit of depth. Basic beige is very pale. It's a lovely colour. I love it. But it is quite pale. And I just want to add a bit of depth to it. So it's not quite such a flat colour. Now, to do this, I've left the die cuts in their card, but I've also stuck some low-tack tape on the back. Other things I need to very quickly say: if you are watching for the first time and you're enjoying what you see, do remember to subscribe. You can do that in the bottom right hand corner. And if you want to see when I go live, hit the alert bell. And if you're enjoying what you see, a thumbs up is always appreciated. So I can unpeel these now. So let me grab that low-tack tape. And I always use these about a bazillion times, these strips of low-tack tape. So, and these are now just a bit more interesting than they were. That can go in the bin. Right, so what am I basically using today don't know why I've got, oh yes, I do know why I've got that out. So I am using papers from the Country Woods. Is it Country Woods? Countryside Woods? Country Woods Designer Series paper, which are all of these lovely wood patterns in so many designs. They're gorgeous. And I think they're just perfect for just a background. So I've got this design, which is on the back of this. I've got some pecan pie and some basic beige. Basic beige is going to be my base card. And I am going to do liners. Thank you, Shaz. Hello, Audrey. Morning from an undecided weather-wise northeast Scotland. We have had rain, hail, rain, sun, now more rain and a bit of cold wind. Well, there is from my days as a kid holidaying in Scotland and as an adult, I seem to remember a postcard of 4 sheep with various weather and basically saying the weather in Scotland, all 4 seasons in one day. So that just kind of fits in, doesn't it? So these are going to pile on there. We'll see if we can make a right way up card. I've got a liner and my little birdie. So I'm going to have those bits. And this is why I've added some colour. So this is the wrong side. If I put them the wrong way up, they're very pale against the background. Add a little bit of crumb cake and suddenly they become more interesting. Were your ears burning on Sunday night, Liz? Ooh, I was sharing your memento tip with, to Emma Goddard's group. I think there will now be a run on the re-inker, etc. You could well be right, Shaz. I'm surprised Emma hasn't, or doesn't already know that. It's a brilliant tip. I mean, it was an American demo, and I can't remember who it was who said it. I want to say Lisa Curcio. Anyway, I've got pumpkin pie and crumb cake blends, and I'm just going to add a bit of colour. So kind of where it's dark, I'm going to add dark, and where it's light, I'm going to add lighter shades. But I'm not going to add colour necessarily everywhere. Ooh, and anyone who's been following along with, I've been talking about our blue tit family, we think they've fledged. Well, I say we think, we hope they've fledged. Hello, Leslie. Leslie is in Sydney in Australia. So yes, we haven't seen or heard much from our blue tit family, so we're hoping they have fledged. If they have, it's a very, very, very cold time of year for them to have fledged, but that's what we're hoping. Right, so a bit of the dark, and then she says hopefully, oh, that was the light. Okay, I'll add a little bit of dark on top of that. I thought that was the light. It helps if you read the barrel of your pen, really. So I didn't want too much of the dark anyway, so that's fine. This is dark crumb cake. Oh, thank you, Sue. Isn't it just? It's such... I think it's been missed by a lot of people, which is kind of why I'm using it, but I think it's beautiful. So I'm not doing anything exciting with this. It's a sparrow. Sparrows are not the most exciting bird, so, you know. We had some on the other side of our kitchen window this morning. We've got one-way glass in our kitchen window, so they kind of don't know that we're there, which is always quite nice. So I'm going to just, anywhere that's got dots or whatever, I'm just going to add some, because it's pixelated. The design is with little dots, pixels. So I'm just picking those areas out, and then I'll come in with the light crumb cake just to blend everything out a bit. Now someone said, and I have to say I kind of agree, it'd be really nice to get basic beige blends, because although we've got the naturals, they're either kind of pinky or kind of yellowy, and the basic beige isn't. Oops, didn't want to put that there. Never mind, it's there now. Right, I'm going to kind of add a lot to their legs because they do have colour on their legs. And then I'll come in with pecan pie for the branch that it's sitting on. But just kind of don't get too excited, I think is the right word. Don't think you have to do much to this. It's all in the stamp. That's why it's so great. Oh good, Shaz is better, thank you. Good. Lots of antibiotics. Aw. Jan has got this stamp set. I'm kind of not surprised, Jan. Why am I not surprised? But I'm kind of not surprised. Right, so I'm just going to blend this a bit. This adds a bit of a creamy tone, which I think is quite nice. Actually, I might end up colouring pretty much everything, because I think the white is a bit stark. Yeah, that's better. And sparrows don't have white. How are we doing time-wise? 1/4 we're doing very well then. Right, I'm going to come in with the thick end, which sometimes comes across as a slightly different colour, but it's normally that there's just a bit more ink at one end of the pen than the other. This will just blend everything out nicely. Like that, and then this is the dark, I think. Yep. We'll just add few bits of dark. Before our neighbour's holly... Oh, thank you, Leslie, for doing the thumbs up. Before our neighbour's holly tree was butchered. Used to love watching them, listening to the birdies, sparrows, chasing one another through the branches. Oh, lovely. Jan doesn't have any bird stamps. Okay, you don't really love the bird stamps. Okay. That is what is great about craft, is you don't have to use things you don't like. Anyway, so this stamp set actually has more than just birds, which we will be coming on to. I'm going to add a bit of dark crumb cake as well, because that pecan pie can sometimes be a bit too orange. And I just want to add a definite line there so that we can see the difference between one thing and another. Right, so let me grab my snips and cut around my die, and then I can die cut and we can put our first card together. It's slightly worrying that I actually prepped today. Right, okay, so I'm just popping that on. I know you can't see what the from at the moment, you can only see the to end, but here we go. I love this stamp set, it's one of my favourites at the moment. Oh good, Shaz. The stamp set is Inspirational Sketches, Leslie, and it's on page 110, I think. Sort that out in a moment. I will be using this again. Probably. I say probably only from a size point of view. Won't be using the die again, so I can worry about the bits later. Right, pop the die over there. So that is our bird, and our bits are here. So I've got some pecan pie, just to help tie everything in, my piece of paper and a basic beige base, green glue, so yes, anyone who is watching, if you aren't sure what I'm using, if you're watching on replay, eventually I will put a list of supplies in the description bar, description block area thing. But I always put the title of the main stamp set that I'm using as part of the title of the video. Hello, Wend. Oh, it came and went. That's weird. I thought we had someone say hello and then it went away. I'm sure it'll come back if it wants to. So yes, it is all, I always put it in the title. Apart from anything else, it's if someone's searching for ideas for how to use a particular stamp set, then it helps them. I haven't folded that totally square. Let's see if I can sort that out. That's better. Right, so that's all done. So we have our circle. Ooh, I was going to use that. Let me just check something. Oh, I could do it with that. No, it's fine. So I'm going to use my leaves for something else, or on a different project, because I had sorted out my basic beige ribbon. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy. Just 2 colours of blend, so pecan pie and crumb cake, and let the sketch stamp do all the work. So I'm going to run, am I going to run that? I think I'm going to run that below the that. Yes, I cut it far too long, but it's fine. So I'm just going to grab some Seal Plus. And that's going to go kind of there. So let's add a couple of strips of Seal Plus to hold that in place. So that's going to go kind of there, like that. Then I need dimensionals on the back of this, and I've got some edge bits, so let's use that up to begin with. And I do have another open packet. Bin. Still can't get used to seeing me twice. It's kind of weird. Right, so this is just going to go towards the top, like that. And then I'm just going to trim my ribbon ends. And I'm not going to trim them evenly, because you don't have to. They don't have to be even. At an angle would be nice, but you know. If you do them not even, it actually can look better than doing them even. So if you do them even and get them not even a lot, that can look kind of weird. So these are adhesive backed speckled dots, which I'm hoping are still current. But they come in crumb cake. And I just thought I would add, let's actually add it with a glue dot. Come on. My piercing tool went underneath, or rather between the dot and the glue. Let's put that back together, shall we? There we go. So, sorry, I have a slightly weird brain sometimes. I was doing my customer thank you cards yesterday, and I was using the duck pond paper and just fussy cutting some ducks, and then I wanted to add embellishments. So to say I do have a slightly bizarre brain because I was making sure I didn't add them underneath their bottoms because that just felt wrong. So this is that sketch scribbly thing. I'm just going to pop that in the bottom corner in Basic Beige. It looks green to begin with. It's a bit like Sahara sand in that way, but it will dry back. And then I'm going to grab a sentiment from my stamp set, which I've buried. Here we go. So I think we're going to do thank you for everything. And we're going to do that in crumb cake. No, we're going to do it in pecan pie. Change my mind. And crumb cake's a bit pale, and it's also quite close to Basic Beige, so it may look as if it's not right. So, thank you for everything. Right, pop that on with seal. Hello, Kay. Looking in the catalogue for this stamp set, I can't seem to find where it shows the entire set. Oh, is that all? 110. I mean, it's in the index. It says 110. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why it's not. Is it a carryover from last year and it's on the online store more fully? Except that would be a favourites, I think. But yes. Online, I think, is the answer to your question. So it is 110, but is sort of not. I'll pop it on screen in a moment. Nearly did it again. Nearly did an upside down inside. Brain, get in here. Right, so that is our first card, and so you can see the stamp set. So we've got the bird, the mushrooms, the flowers, the squiggle, and then 3 sentiments. Right, so that's 1 card down, 2 to go. So next up in my little pile of treasures is the mushroom. So bits for the mushroom. So I need a piece that is at least that big, which this will be. So that's all right. I've got my stamp mounted. I need my memento ink pad. Let's move our birdie out of the way for the moment. Well, let's see if I can convince you, Kay, that the other images are nice too. So these are the mushrooms. There we go. And again, I'm just going to, I'm just going to clean my stamp while that memento is drying properly. The catalogue is, it's a new layout, and I think they'll get some good feedback on it, as in, you know, constructive feedback. Hello, Priscilla. But it is a bit of a work in progress. You are correct in that. Right, okay, so for this card we are using this lovely Misty Moonlight Blue, which has got this stripe on the back. We're using the stripe somewhere else. Piece of crumb cake and wild wheat. I know some people don't like wild wheat, but we're going to be using it on the next project more. Okay, so we're using pecan pie and crumb cake again. I'm going to start with my crumb cake, which is kind of more what the stems are for. Something that is very good for stems of mushrooms, and actually I'm going to bring it in, is the ivory. Way back when. It's got that kind of right tone for mushroom stems. Now, I know mushrooms on a card is potentially a bit of a stretch for some people. I'm just going to use the ivory now rather than the light crumb cake. And just blend that all in. But it gives that slightly... Mushrooms can have that slightly peachy, pinky tinge to them, which the ivory gives. Oops, missed a bit. Hello, Rose. So to do that, and it dries back slightly less pink, but it's still got that nice soft pink touch to it. Oh, something's mowing in the background. If you can hear mowing in the background, you're not wrong. You can hear mowing in the background. Now, I like to actually colour in the individual bits, and there is a reason for that. Sometimes you can't actually see what should be coloured and what shouldn't be. So by following the individual stem, you're more likely to see what should be coloured. I'm just going to come in with some light crumb cake just to add a little bit of shading to some of this, where there needs to be a bit of subtle shading. I've got dark shading where I had the dark crumb cake, but in some areas you just need a little bit more. Right, so that is those are my stems. Hello, Debbie. You don't have to worry about being late. It's not something you can be late for. So I'm just going to do dark pecan pie under here. Now, I know mushrooms don't generally come out brown, but I'm embracing the brown. That noise is really doing my head in, the mowing. I was at the hygienist earlier in the week, and it sounds like hygiene noise, where they're getting rid of all that plaque you missed. I don't have American teeth, I have British teeth. So I do get plaque. I've also started wearing a night guard to stop me grinding my teeth at night, and I do find that that has made me have more build-up of plaque. And the hygienist agreed, which is always fun. Right, I'm just going to add a little bit on top here. And remember, this stamp set is called Inspirational Sketches, not inspirational, it's got to be exactly right. So, yeah. And I will be coming in with some crumb cake as well. What are we doing time-wise? Ooh, we're doing well. Ooh, exciting. And I've seen all sorts of projects using this stamp set, mostly using the bird. I agree that most people have been using the bird. Not that many people are using the mushrooms. Now, there are some bits of shading that are just what I would call hanging in midair. I'm going to ignore them. I'm not going to colour them, they're just there. And that's fine. They're obviously there for a reason, and I'm not going to embrace the whole colouring them in. They're just there for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but they're there for a reason. Right, okay, so I'm going to come in with dark crumb cake just to lighten some of these areas. I know, dark to lighten. Oh, it was in the January to July. Well done, Jan. So this is just going to add a bit more grey, because crumb cake to my brain has grey in it. And a bit of light crumb cake just for some highlights, and it will bleed back. I mean, as in, you know, it's like bleach, it will lift. Right, okay, so I'm just going to cut that down so that I can pop it through the die cutter. And on the subject of dies and die cutters, from the 5th, tomorrow, this is my mini, we are having a die bundle sale. So in addition to the normal 10% off for a die bundle, and by off I mean you get 10% off the price of the combined cost of the dies and the stamp set. So in addition to that, you're going to get another 10% off, but you're also going to get 10% off the cut and emboss machines. So if you've always wanted a mini, or you've always wanted the Big Boss, from tomorrow is your day. All I would say is that I gather that in North America the Big Boss is already slightly low in stock. So if you want the Big Boss and you're in the States, you've been warned. What's my weather been like? Disgusting. You're braver than me, Liz. I can't tolerate tooth-shaking gadget. It's horrible, isn't it? Are they mushrooms or toadstools? Whichever you want, Audrey. You can colour them however you want. So this is Misty Moonlight ink. And I'm just going to catch the edge of my decal. I need to re-ink my Misty Moonlight. I do. It's fine for blending. So, I mean, they look like, is it shikata mushrooms? Depends what your mushrooms look like. Ah, relaxing watching colouring. Good. Quite relaxing colouring. I do a lot of colouring, like, you know, the adult colouring books, while I'm, in inverted commas, watching television. Clearly, if I'm colouring, I'm not watching television. I'm listening to television. I'm not one of those people that can just sit and watch television. Occasionally we'll watch something with in a foreign language with subtitles, which I find such hard work because I can't do other things. Ooh, I spat. It'll be fine. There's a sploop there now. If that's still there when I've finished, I can always add an embellishment over it. It's what embellishments are for. Right, so we've got a very soft Misty Moonlight memory. I need to remind myself to re-ink that because it is very, very dry. Right, okay, so. Oh, and where am I? I have an embellishment. Where's my embellishment? There it is. Okay, it's fine, it's not a problem. We're there. Right, so wild wheat base. Yours come in a plastic box. Fair enough. Ours grow out of the lawn and around the raised beds and things. But those are fungi rather than anything else. Shikata. I'm sure it's shikata mushrooms. Anyway, they're kind of wispy, a bit like these. But obviously you could colour them red. Oh, thank you, Sue. I have to say I got it off Pinterest. Have I still got that open? No. I saw someone do mushrooms with blue. Not the same design, but they did the mushrooms with the blue, and then I thought if I'm using blue paper, that would be an idea. But it does. It makes them look more intentional. Right, so this is going up onto dimensionals. Let's do one in the middle as well. I know that's two. It's one in the middle of both those things. Love wild mushroom foraging. Collected 2 kilos last year. Wow. Shikata. That's that thing. That word. That's the word, Audrey. S-H-I-T-A-K-E. Those. But there are loads of mushrooms these days. I mean, back in the day, you got white or brown. Now you've got, oh, and occasionally button. Mushrooms. I've got two toadstools and then a brown square wend. Don't know what that means. Right, these are opal round assortments, and they're in blue, gold, and I think that's meant to be a colour, and these sort of opalescent. They're opals. That'll be why. So one's going to go there, because that is where I spat. Ooh, I've done it again. Note to self, don't keep splitting the embellishment away from the sticky bit. That's better. So suddenly that little mark gone. Shitoki. Ah, hello Barbara. Those. That's what I was talking about. So I'm suddenly making this an expensive card to post, but hey. So that's just to add a bit of something. If you want it to be a standard UK letter, put your embellishment on the base, not on a raised up bit. Right.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Okay, my smart speaker is clearly being not very smart this morning and is talking to me. Right, hey-ho. So I'm just going to do some more stamping on the inside. I know I'm doing stamping on the inside of my card. This is not like me. I'm going to use the same whole bit, except I'm going to use the blue. Did I clean that stamp? Apparently not. This is where we will find out whether or not that ink pad really needs re-inking, or whether it's not too bad. Let's not attack my t-shirt with it. That's not what I wanted to ink. Anyway, the answer to the question is it's actually not too bad. had a slightly, what's the word I'm looking for, stressful day yesterday. I think my brain's not quite recovered. I mean, nothing specific, but just wasn't the smoothest day. It was one of those days. Yours talked too, Sue. That's weird. That's very odd. But yes, yesterday was just one of those days where things, if they could go wrong, went wrong. Don't know why. Oh, except I was making the supper, and I was making a thing that I make quite often. And the last time I made it, which was only last week, it went horribly wrong. And last night it went perfectly right. It was amazing. Right, so those are the first two cards we've got with the inspirational sketches and the country woods. So last one is the flower. And I'm going to try and be a little clever here. A bit of a worry, I know. Because I'm going to stamp it in basic beige and make it look kind of watercolory. I don't know. Possibly a bit watercolory. Anyway. But it does mean it's going to have to dry properly before I colour it. Ooh, that's not quite what I was expecting. Let me try if I do second generation. Second generation's not... Let's see if I can do almost second generation. Oh, in fact, that's what I need to do. I need to go up and down quickly. But not that quickly. Right, okay, this is how not to stamp things. It's just the ink pad is quite juicy. So let's do the other thing. Let's listen to what I tell other people to do. So, my basic beige is a new ink pad, obviously, so I'm going to push the ink back and get it not as inky. That's better. Much better. Yeah, it was just too inky. Oh, bless you, Shaz. Thank you, yes. Click that bell, thumbs up and all that good stuff. Right, I'm going to die cut this and... no, I'm going to colour it and then die cut it. I'm just going to cut my piece of cards down a bit before I do that. And we are going to add those leaves that I die cut earlier. So I have got a colour people love, petal pink, and a colour people hate, wild wheat. So we're just going to go for it. Now, it is a sketch. It's meant to be sketchy. I know I keep saying that, but it is. And you're going to not see very much until I've finished, because it is very pale. In fact, let me show you how pale it is. Very pale. Which is what I want. What I really, really want. Now, sometimes when you're doing something like this and it's very pale, bringing in your stamp set is not a bad idea, because then you can see where everything's meant to be. Just saying. So I'm going for that almost no line watercolour look. But I do need to know what's flower and what's not. Now, some of it, interestingly, is a bit like with the mushrooms. I said there were those dots in weird places that weren't on the mushroom. There's some of that going on as well. Oh, I think, no, that is right. I wondered if that was meant to be a leaf. It's not, it's a petal. In fact, it's 2 petals. No, that's a petal. Just checking. Just checking if it's a petal or a leaf. And the answer is it's a petal. Also a petal. Now I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with the centre of the flowers yet. Hello, Laurie! How nice to see you too. So I've got the fat end of my petal pink blend, and I am colouring each petal separately, and it does make a difference. Trust me, I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Oh, I need to add some more shading. In there. Now, what's that going on there? That's another petal. Right. So yes, colour each of your petals separately. I may have to bring in a yellow that isn't wild wheat, and I know what people think about wild wheat from a colour point of view. I actually quite like it. It has its place. Now let's just make sure I know what that right. So that's that way. So this is all petal, overlapping the bud. That's more petal. We need some more shading. Actually looks like it hasn't stamped properly on screen. That's kind of the look you're going for if you want the sketchy look, as in the watercolour sketchy look. You want it to not show completely. I mean, be there, but only just. But you do have to be quite careful with your shading when you're doing this, otherwise it can look a bit too pale. So that one actually I'm going to colour differently. So this is one of those projects, and I'll show you it at the end, is one of those projects that actually looks better in person than it will on the screen, and it probably look better in the photos than it will on screen. That's a leaf. That's a petal. That's a petal. Ooh, a bit in there. And those are petals as well. Yeah, I've got the other end, never mind. Only got a little bit to colour there. And that bit there. I'll bring this up and show you where I am so far. I don't know how focused that is. I hate to admit it, but I'm starting to really like wild wheat too. Especially the markers. The markers are very good. They are. So this is light and this is dark. And I'm going to use them for the leaves. But I am going to bring in another yellow for the centre of the flower. That's actually a leaf. Now some of the petals I'm going to go over again because we're losing them a bit. There we are. Right, so that's that. That needs to be light. This is dark. That's shading, that's a stem. This is dark. Can you hear me concentrate? Stem, leafy bit, stem. So these things here are buds. Now I'm going to just bring in one more thing before we finish, which may or may not surprise you. That's that way, that's shading, that's that, that's a leaf, that's a leaf. Right, I will come back, as they say, so let's grab that, but I also want that. Ooh, and where is it? That. Right, so I brought in Light Daffodil Delight, yes, just to do those centres. So let's get those in. And I'm just going to let the ink that I stamped do the shading for that. Then we need to do our flower buds. And then I'm going to bring in the thing that I think you might find a little weird, but maybe not. Right, so that's basically the colouring done, except... Hello, Kay. Thank you, Laurie. So these are the Stampin' Right markers, which you can just add a little bit over the top of your inking, and then whilst it's still a little bit wet, you can blend it out, and it gives just a little bit more texture. I'm less liking that than I know I'm going to like this. So this is the petal pink, which we can just add a little more definition on those petals. So where there's a join, you know, like an overlap, or a bit more shading. And again, you can go in and blend that out with the blends, which I will show you in a moment. But it just gives you a definite edge. You don't necessarily want it everywhere, just a little bit to give your eye that hint that there's more than it can perhaps see. So this is the light petal pink. Ideally you want to go over it when it's still slightly damp. Let's try that darker. That's better. And especially for when you're doing videos, it shows a bit more contrast. To be honest, I preferred the other tip that we used to have, the rollerball, for this technique. The bullet is not my favourite. But it just gives a little bit more definition. Hello, bee! Right, okay, so let's pop this together. Hoping this will go through my mini if I trim this down a bit more. Yes, it will. So again, I'm using the same spotlight dies, the circle dies. Crumb cake may be a better background stamp colour. We used to use Sahara Sand. I think Basic Beige is a bit light. It's okay, but a bit light. Right, okay, so I've got my thing. I've got Petal Pink card base. That's the word I was looking for. Let's pop that away because it's cheap and cheerful. Yes, we are the right way up. Pool Party layer, because there's Pool Party in the wood paper that I've chosen, which is this one, which is the reverse of the one we used for the mushroom. So the other thing you can use to help with definition, although we don't have Petal Pink in it, are the watercolour pencils, and then you can use the blender pen to blend it out. And I was going to use those, but I think I'm actually going to use the same ones that I used before, which are those. Right. And then we will be done. 1, 2, 3, 4, one in the middle for luck. I'm deliberately offsetting, and I'm going to use more of these opal rounds if I can get into them. Been in them once, why won't they open? Come on. Oh, because the glue's right on the edge of the thing. Right, let's see if I can pick these up without detaching them from their bottoms. Yay! And then a liner. That, oops, that, and, ooh, let's use wild wheat, why not? Okay. So I'll do, oh, I know what I didn't add. I will add them. It's fine. I forgot, but they're going in. The leaves! I forgot the leaves, but we can add them as a retrospective. Wrong one, right one. Oh, that wasn't clever. Got most of that on my mini grid paper rather than on the card, but no, it's fine. It's fine. It's that edge, just needs a little rundown. Okay, so retro fitting of leaves. Green glue. Let's clear some of the decks. So we've got long and short. So the key is to then find where there isn't a dimensional. So these were the ones that, for those of you who joined a bit later, these are in basic beige, but I put some ink on with a blending brush and it's crumb cake ink, just to give it a bit more oomph. Actually, what I want to do is that. And that, and then at the top I just want to snip that off. Oh, thank you everyone. Thank you Rose, thank you Priscilla. 7 AM Eastern US, what a great way to have coffee. Oh, bless you Karen. So this one then goes in up there. So let's do a quick recap. We started with our bird, then we had our mushrooms, then we had our flower. I know which my favourite is. Which is yours? If you're watching live, you can let me know now. If you're watching on replay, pop a comment in the below the description bar and let me know. But yeah, I definitely know which my favourite is. Thank you, Wend. So clear the decks a wee bit so I can actually find my mouse. So which is your favourite? Let me know. Mushroom, says Shaz. Jan as in Janice is fine. It's 9 PM Tuesday, Sydney. Laurie likes everyone. Laurie, Jane, Priscilla, mushrooms. Leslie the bird. B is retiring on the 22nd of August. Whoop whoop. Debbie likes the mushrooms. B likes them all. K likes them all. Yes, Laurie, isn't she lucky? All of them. Thank you, Wend. Difficult to decide, says Janice. And Laurie loves them all. Thank you. Mushrooms. Yeah, my favourite is the mushrooms. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. I have to say, I had great fun with those. And I do particularly like the mushrooms. So anyone who voted mushrooms, yay! As I say, if you've enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Questions or comments below the description bar when we're on replay. I will be recorded on Saturday. Final one tops it. Thank you, Wend. B says mushrooms are best. So thank you all very much. But yes, I'll be back on Saturday with a Simple Stamping Saturday. It might even be a proper Simple Stamping Saturday. And then I'll be back again next Tuesday for more live crafting. Until then, keep well, and I hope you have a fantastic time. Bye for now.